Alright guys, here's a little talk session. The reason I started this is because of watching Gamers Nexus and their video, and one of the videos I think really hits the park of what my kind of goal and content is. So let's hide this taskbar. Alrighty. So I'm starting with this video with Gamer Nexus reviewing this $2,500 gaming PC from ASUS. And
ASUS, in its infinite wisdom, has made this $2,500 pre-built computer, which absolutely guts the CPU performance by downclocking it over 1.3 gigahertz below what it's supposed to be operating at. It's actually what is the worst version of a pre-built that we have ever reviewed. So this is the ASUS G22CH-DH978. And what this tiny ROG pre-built lacks in performance, confident component selection, thermals, value, and basically
so one thing about this particular video is the fact that for $2,500, and just look at the specs, I'm like, seriously? Like, this is what you can come up with like DDR5 4000? Like, WTF, you know what I mean? And looking at Gamers Nexus and their part selection, and that's obviously way cheaper with similar performance. But what if your goal is to spend $2,500? You know what I mean? Like, you want the best, I won't say best, but like the pre-build that you can buy. But to be honest, I'm pretty sure you could buy majority of these components from ASUS and still would be cheaper than $2,500. I don't know why they why they do this. Why they're doing this to consumers. This is so stupid. Like, yeah, 4900KF, not a bad processor, but I mean, even you take all ASUS parts except maybe, memory and storage, you could still build a better, if not cheaper, PC than this. So I'm gonna start a little part picker session on all ASUS build, and obviously for part selection, to be honest, nowadays there's really only a few processors out there. Either you spend the AMD money on 9800X3D, or you're probably getting the 14900K. They're kind of sitting around the same sort of price range right now. I would say kinda. I think Intel will go a little bit cheaper if you find a sale somewhere. But for the latest and greatest build, 9800 X3D right now is the best. And for $2,500, I'm pretty sure you could afford this particular component, and I would just go for that, right? I'm gonna actually start with the case because honestly, ASUS doesn't have that many case you could pick, and I think filtering it down, just sorry, not merchants, but filter it down to just ASUS, and we have quite a bit of selection. Actually, this Prime AP201 is actually quite a nice case, and for the size, like especially in this particular build, if you really think about care about size, like, yeah, it's a little bit bigger still, but I mean, really, for that particular case, you're gonna be looking at these these cheaper cases, and they're just as tiny as the ones that they're advertising. And I would say this is a no-brainer. Just go for one of the cheaper cases and call it a day. And once you have your processor and case out of the way, you could build, many sort of variation of ASUS components to make up the $2,500. And this come with the power supply. So I think right now I'm kind of designing this computer backwards a little bit, just because I want to make sure of I get all ASUS parts first, like all ASUS parts that I can find. And so right now ASUS has a very good selection of cases. Power supplies too. I have never personally had the TUF, bought the TUF before, but for 109, I think it's a little bit pricey for a TUF. I would have go for a ROG Strix. I think these Strix are ROG power supplies, are made by Seasonic, and they're quite reputable. And I would go for the Strix version of all their power supplies. I could be wrong on this, so you guys need to do a little bit more research on the particular version of a power supply you're buying. So for me, I'm planning to put a 4080, 4090, or a 5080, 5090, or not 5090, but like a 5080 or a 47 or 5070 Ti into this build. And I don't think A50, I'm not comfortable getting an A50 power supply unless it's a very well-built power supply. So I would actually filter this a little bit and make sure that at least I'm getting at least an A50, if not more. So I'm gonna filter by from the Loki power supply. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but Loki power supply is actually a very good power supply. But then again, we're looking at just the bang for the buck power supply here. So let's go filter by the price. And I don't like these gold power supply unless you're getting a Strix, but looking at this, a TUF 100 for 1000 watt, 169, or you'd be getting one of the Loki or Thor power supplies for close to 200. What's the next thing up? Gold, platinum. So platinum Loki. 169. What's the next? 1000 power, 1000 rated power supply that's rated as either platinum or titanium. What do you got? You got the Loki. Really, there's not many choices for ASUS for platinum or titanium power supplies. That's kind of disappointing, to be honest, not having that sort of not many options. But I think A50, a Loki or Thor would be definitely sufficient enough. And I think for that case, you could use a SFX power supply. You could use one of these, and I have built in one of my buddy's PC using the same power supply and case. And I think this is actually not a bad choice for this particular build for A50 Platinum, because it's like this is god tier, like SFX power supply, the low key, in my opinion. Is this SFX or is it ATX? There's SFX. So yeah, god tier. Once we have these things out of the way, what will be the next? I guess will be the motherboard. And to be honest, your motherboard can limit to an MATX or a RTX board. Honestly, from my experience, I don't like to throw a RTX motherboard on an MATX case unless that MATX case it's super tiny. And I have built in one of those smaller cases before that is super tiny MATX case. It's actually very hard to even to use an MATX case in one of those builds. But from my point of view, I think ITX case mini ATX is too overpriced. I think micro ATX from feature side of things and performance are just as good, and if not better, and some ITX out there. We're here to spend our money, and we got a $2,500 of budget. If we had $2,500 of a budget, why don't we pick one of the better motherboards out there? You know what I mean? Like why am I saving money on these things? So I don't think the A50 and A40 stuff is out, but I can definitely go for a 650E or 650. Let's see what I got for selection just from ASUS. The TUF is always a good board to go with, but then let's see what else they got. They got Wi-Fi, so we want all the feature sets. What they got for Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi 7, Wi-Fi 6E. That's what you want. You don't want any Wi-Fi 6 stuff. You're kind of limited to this guy. I think this came out too. The BA50, yeah. Yeah, I think this just came out. Hey, let's get this. Yeah, from ASUS website. 12 plus 1. Or sorry, 14 plus 2. Like Arceus, 8-layer PCB. What the heck, man? This is stupid overpowered. This board is freaking overpowered. Like, look at the amount of USBs you got. This is no brainer. Get this. This is a good board if you just want to go for all ASUS. Man. For video card, I mean, really we're looking at what? 4080 Super, and if they're available, I think this will be a placeholder, to be honest. You're not gonna actually buy this today, especially when the 50 series just about launch and in the corner of next week or the week after, or somewhere around that range. But we are wanting to get ASUS cards, right? So I think the 4080 Super will be a placeholder. I do not recommend to buy the 4080 Super with this particular price. I mean, if I were at this right now, I would actually change the price. I don't recommend to buy that with that price, of maybe like $1,200 new. But then again, if you're getting the 4080 Super like with the launcher of a 5080, yes, you're gonna still spending this much money, maybe like $1,300. But I think $1,200 is where you actually want to spend on a graphics card nowadays. Like if you want to go premium, anyways. So I would key that in as $1,200, and we're getting close. We're getting close to that $2,500 mark. And once we get there, we can tweak our price a little bit. To be honest, if this was, you know, when the 50 series is launched, I think you're better off getting a 4070 or a 4070 Ti. I mean, that's the same, well, kind of, you know, build as how much they're trying to build. Was it a 4070 they threw in this build?
To make the page down.
Where is it at?
The screws, but
I can't find it anymore.
But 13, so base thermal is tiny, ROC, everything else.
Oh, there we go. Ah, missed it. Oh.
And performance, confident component selection, thermals, value.
There we go. I got a 4070. So, I mean, honestly, go for a 5070, I guess. 5070 Ti, which is what? 549? 700? I'll key in a 700 in here. Like, this is really what you really want to spend. It's not a 4080 Super. You know what? I'm actually gonna just pick a 5070 since it PC Part Picker already has those added to the list. So really, I mean, I don't know. They give me all the sizes, so I think 5070 Ti would be somewhere you want to sit at. I like to get the tough version. So let's just say 5070 Ti. What is 749 or let's just say 800 bucks. 800 bucks for one of these. So we're gonna add the OC, the tough gaming OC, and we're gonna delete that old one. So we're gonna just say, yeah, we're gonna not pay for MSRP, but like 800. Let's go for 800, right? I think that's pretty reasonable for a build. So next we're gonna go for the cooler. ASUS. We're gonna go for all ASUS build here. 240 IO, sure, but I think we're gonna be pushing it a little bit. We're gonna go for a 360 because that case actually supports a 360 anyways. The Prime, sure, I want to get a black one. I think the tough, I think this particular tough one is quite nice. It's actually, according to this, it's lower decibel in terms like performance wise. I think that's where you want to kind of spend. But personally, I would just buy the money, get the cheapest one, and put in some quiet fans in there and call it a day. But you know what? Since we're building a, theoretical computer, we're gonna pick this guy. And what? We're only sitting at just shy of 2,000. Pick some memory. If you are not willing to spend crazy amount of money, and if you are thinking that you don't need that much RAM, 32 gig would be enough. I'm pushing that a little bit. I would definitely go for a 64 gig if possible. And we're gonna go and see what sort of options we get once we filter it down. So cast latency, something around here. Let's go for price per gigabyte. So the Patriot Viper, they do come with a or at least one of these brands actually come with a tough model. I can't remember exactly which one it is at the moment, but I do have one. I actually have the box. Which is this guy. If you look at that, that's gonna be an ASUS kind of branded RAM, because it's just gonna leave that there. Let's see. Let's find this one. Let's find this guy. I got the what, 224 gig DIMM, and they're by Patriot. So let's find Patriot. What would be a good price mark for this guy? 79 for that. I think this is the RGB version for 174. It's really a toss up. I mean, honestly, I would, you know what, you're spending, like, I'll get this, honestly. This is quite good for the price. I don't know, it's tough branded, but hey, it is pretty good for the price. Let's add it to the part list. We're still just over 2,000. And what do they got for storage? 1 terabyte. We already gone beyond what power supply, what like what the the graphics card. We already gone beyond the RAM, the motherboard, and the CPU, and literally we have gone beyond every single one of these. And yeah, and we have what? We have another $500 to play around with storage. Like, this is kind of crazy. For $2,500, you could get a very nice, decent build. 8 terabyte drives? Seriously? What's the cheapest 8 terabyte you could get? 800? No, it's not worth it. 8 terabyte is not worth the price. No, there's no way. It's stupid. Stupid expensive. Let's go buy 4 terabyte. You got tons of budget room to get 4 terabyte. I think I'm just gonna go for my last particular selection. I think this time I'm gonna go for the Western Digital A50X. We're gonna set this as a storage drive, and we're gonna set what? We're gonna get a Gen 5 drive as a boot drive. I don't think it's necessary. We're just kind of going out of the scope of this build. But because we had that price headroom, so we're gonna go for maybe a less than that, maybe a 1 terabyte drive. See what kind of choices I get from here. Filter by price. Cyber Rocket 5, sure. Crucial T, Sentinel 5. I mean, these are Cyber. They're very good, solid state company. Crucial is nice, pretty good too. What do we got here? What do we have? PNY. I don't have too much experience with those. I think the T700 for a boot drive for Gen 5. I think that's still pretty good, especially you don't need a heatsink. Let's go for that. I think that's pretty good. We don't need to spend. I mean, you could also spend that another $20 more for that, but I think this is a very reasonable option here. All right, for $2,500, this is what you can build for a all ASUS gaming PC. And come on, like, this will destroy this thing left and right and center. And this is your ASUS build. I don't think ASUS build has SSDs, do they? I know MSI does, but I don't think ASUS. Oh, they do have a Strix, but I don't think it's available. There's only a Yeah, there's no price, nowhere you can buy this. So let's ignore that. You can't buy the SSD from ASUS just yet. Let's see. There's what is that? What is that compatibility? What do you mean? Pass mask. How thick is this GPU? I'm pretty sure we can ignore this problem A here. I am pretty sure this will fit in the case. And yeah, that's fine too. I'm pretty sure this will fit in the case. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna end the build today. I mean, this is what you can get, you know, for $2,500 in the middle of January with no Black Friday deals. And it'll still kick the crap out of this pre-build. And not only that, since it's all ASUS parts, you could just RMA the parts if you have to from ASUS. It's the same thing as you RMA this entire PC to ASUS. Like, why would you not just build a PC? I mean, to be honest, yeah, okay, you might have to spend another maybe $50, $100 to get somebody to build if you're not able to build one yourself. Yeah, you know, add another $100. Sure, it comes with Windows, but like with operating system nowadays, you could get one of those OEM keys or whatever, and you know, for $20-$30 you could get a Windows 11 CD key. Or not only that, if you got a Windows 10 CD key already, just use that, it will work. So really, operating system it's not worth anything nowadays. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of, you know, rant on this particular, you know, pre-built PC. But I think anybody are looking for spend $2,500, go buy this. You'll be happier. You way better build. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. If you got any sort of ideas, comments, leave in the comment section below. I will try and read them all and then create up a video in response to a lot of your questions. And have a good day. Bye.